Hey everyone, welcome to Millennium Computers online 5-minute tutorial series. Today's course is going to take a quick look at how to incorporate pinned reports with virtual columns. Now we're going to dedicate a full-length tutorial to this as well, but I want to show you the basic premise when we're starting to merge our virtual columns with our pinned reports. It might seem pretty straightforward, but there's a couple little nuances I want to make sure everyone understands. Now, first of all, I've executed a report, and this happens to be my total vendor spend report in finance reporting. But remember that virtual columns, and particularly pinned reports, spans all applications in FAST. So this is not a module-specific tutorial. I'm just going to scroll over to the right-hand side and remind you what we did in one of the previous tutorials. I created a visualization on my total spend category column. I also added a virtual column called Total Spend Actuals. This last column in the report is a virtual column, not a baseline column. Let me show you how else you might know that. If I click on my gear button and click Manage, it's going to show me that in this case, I have no personal virtual columns, but I do have a public virtual column. In other words, as an administrator, I went ahead and created a virtual column that was going to be available for all end users who run this report. Now, there's a couple key things to keep in mind here. What if my end user groups already had pinned reports based on the vendor total spend report? I want to show you what changes they need to be aware of when they now start running those pinned reports again. I'm going to close this dialog box and open up my pinned reports tab within finance reporting. And let's dive into my pinned reports and pick on the total spend. Now I have a couple reports here that are pinned. In other words, I've created these reports for myself, and I probably run these on a pretty regular basis. What I'm going to do is either click on the title, and that's going to bring me to the filter options page, or I can click directly on Execute Report. If you want to have a quick look at your filter options first, you're better off to click on the hyperlinked title. This is going to bring me to my filter options page for that report. If I'm happy with those filter options, I can click Execute Report. Now, once the report runs, I want to show you something. If I scroll over to the right-hand side, you're going to notice right away there's only a total spend column, not a total spend actuals. And this is the column that we added a visualization to. Let me unsort this. So now I have this great column that gives me visual data of all the dollar figures, but the problem is I'm missing the virtual column that we went to the trouble of adding. Let me show you where to find it and how to reincorporate it into your pinned reports. If I click on Plus More and choose Advanced Options, you're going to notice something right away here. The last column in this report is Total Spend Actuals, and it's there, but it's not enabled. If you have a pinned report, that pinned report is always going to respect the original criteria that you saved it with. If we want to add a column or take away a column or even reorganize those columns, we need to resave the pinned report. In this case, FAST doesn't know that we want to use this column. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And in fact, we can even make some more changes here if we want to get rid of any of these other fields in the report. Let's re-execute this report now and see how it looks. Now we have a slightly modified report, but it's incorporating both the baseline total spend column and my custom or virtual column called Total Spend Actuals. Now, if we want to save this again, click on my pinned button, click Update, and we can even give this a little bit more impressive title. Let's call this Total Spend Actuals, and I'm going to leave it private, not assign it to a group or to the public library, and just go ahead and click Save. Now, every time I run this pinned report, if it's one I use on a regular basis, it's always going to include both the baseline and virtual column that we added earlier. I hope this has been a good introduction on how to incorporate virtual columns into your pinned reports.